Okay, today I want to talk about one of the primary causes for low back pain in the golf swing. And we're going to bring this back to the 4 movements to master that we covered in the golf movements to master. Particularly the ability to rotate and move well through your mid-spine, your thoracic spine, and then the ability to rotate and move well through your hip joint. And really, if you look at the golf swing, it happens a lot rotationally, obviously. It happens a lot in that transverse plane. And if you are limited in rotation through your thoracic spine, okay, or you're limited in rotation from your hips, we'll just say for the sake of today, even just general mobility or tightness in the hips or the mid-back, then what happens in the golf swing is that you're going to be looking for some sort of elastic potential, and you're going to be looking for some sort of separation from the upper and lower half, at least to have a good, efficient golf swing. And if you can't rotate through the upper spine, if you can't rotate through the hips at all, what's going to have a tendency to happen is that you're really going to have to use a lot of your midsection to generate force and generate power. And a lot of times what ends up happening is that you overexert the midsection, and so you're going to see a lot of your rotational disc issues, muscle strains, oblique strains, sometimes even the intercostal strains. But the back pain specifically is going to happen because that's the segment that sits directly between the mid-back and the hips, all right? And that's where the idea of a tightness sandwich, I call it a tightness sandwich. That's what a lot of the population is struggling with, is we get tight here, we get tight here, and then our mid-back, which sits right in the middle of that, which is supposed to be transferring energy from the upper to lower and lower to upper half, the low back actually now has to become a prime mover of energy and a driver of energy, and that's again where we see a lot of issues occurring. So the lack of mobility through here, it screws up a lot of things in the golf swing. It limits our ability to get any sort of turn. It limits our ability to separate the lower and upper half. And then it also really limits the ability for us to start with the lower half, because you're not going to be able to really start with something if you can't rotate and get it in a good position to actually have that elastic potential like we talked about. Okay, big pictures, lack of mobility here, lack of mobility here results in a tightness sandwich. Low back is going to somehow pay the price for that in the golf swing due to poor energy transfer from the lower and upper half. And then also if the back and the core muscles all of a sudden have to be a prime mover for movement instead of a stabilizer and an energy transfer, then that's where a lot of the low back issues occur. Okay, so movements to master, that's why it's so critical to master rotation through the mid-back and have good quality movement there. Master movement through the hips and have good quality rotation there. And then you'll take a lot of stress off of that low back within the golf swing. Hope you enjoy. Get rid of that tightness sandwich and you'll be crushing balls mid-fairway in no time.